Hey everybody, it's Valerie from Very Random Valerie. Today's Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. Hope y'all are doing good. Today I'm going to tell you a little story. It was about the time that God answered me. And I'll preface this by just telling you a little bit about what was going on at the time in my life. My father had passed away some months before, and he used to work for the Saudi government. He designed airports internationally, and the last 8 years of his life he spent in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, working on an expansion of their airport. Well, when he fell ill and he was going to require some medical care, the Saudi government offered to send him anywhere in the world that he wanted treatment, and they would pay the bill. So, because we were from Atlanta, and at the time, Emory University was the second in the nation for heart issues or heart problems, we decided to, have him go there. It just seemed to make sense. And so he was there for several months. He had a quadruple bypass, but then he had a pulmonary embolism, which affected his lungs and his ability to help his heart recover. So over 3 months, he steadily declined until he passed away. My husband and I had moved in the meantime from Florida up to Georgia to help my mother with the house, and because she had been trying to sell it. And so my husband, myself, and our newborn daughter, moved up to help her. Well, when people die, you go through those phases. You go through the bargaining phase, and you go through sadness, and you go through all these different phases. But there was one phase that I never went through, and until this one day, and that's sort of the anger phase. I hadn't allowed myself to get angry, but many months were starting to pass, and we were getting bills like you wouldn't believe. I think Dad's hospital care, and this was 30 years ago, was over $1 million. And so we kept getting the bills, and we weren't getting the money from the Saudi government to pay these bills, and so we got rather alarmed and concerned. And we used to open the bills up, and then we just took them, and we were just throwing them unopened in the bottom of the secretary, the bottom drawer, unopened, to open when we felt like we could handle, dealing with it. Well, one day I'd been to the mailbox, I'd gotten the letter, and I brought it inside, and I threw it in the bottom drawer, and I went upstairs to where my husband and daughter and I were staying, and I sat on the foot of the bed, and I was furious. I think it was actually fear that came out as anger. And I sat on the bed, and I was shouting at God in my head. And the last thing I said was, "Do you hear me, God?" That very instant that I had that thought, the lights in the house went out. They didn't stay out more than maybe a minute, but it was long enough for me to get the message. I had lived in that house over 2 decades, and the only time the lights ever went out in that house was 2 times, both times when we had ice storms and trees had pulled the lines down. So this was all the confirmation I needed. In one instant, I got an answer from God, and it was confirmation that He hears me, and I've never doubted it since then. Do you have a similar story? Do you have a story where God answered you and there's no doubt in your mind? I'd love it if you'd share it down below. Y'all take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.